Last week, I spoke to you all about CalCare. I think it was last week. We talked about CalCare and how it was going to bring Medicaid for all to California. And I was talking about how exciting it was going to be that, it was looking like passing. California is a one-party state. It really looked like it had momentum. And then it could pair with a bill coming through the New York State Legislature, State Assembly, I think it's called. And then we could have the two biggest marketplaces having Medicaid for all, which would create an immense amount of pressure for other states to follow suit, right? I talked about all that. It was very exciting. I was super pumped. But I have a follow-up to this, and it's bad. So CalCare is effectively dead. So the way this happened was the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, essentially stepped in at the last minute and called the whole thing off, or had his proxy in the California legislature call the whole thing off. So this is essentially dead through the legislative process. By the way, the people who ended up killing the bill have taken an incredible amount of money from pharmaceuticals, from insurance companies. So if you need to know who's responsible, that's who's responsible. But also, this is kind of interesting because Governor Newsom actually ran on Medicaid for all. He more or less ran on CalCare. And, when he was asked about CalCare dying, he kind of gave a wishy-washy and he's like, oh, like I'm in favor of single payer, but I haven't read this bill and I don't know. And all over the place. It was a giant mess. So it is dead in the legislature. And the reason I keep saying in the legislature is because California actually has this really great process where they can pass things through referendum. Lots of California's most popular and actually unpopular bills have come through referenda. And California has a really strong history of doing this. And by the way, it's not like CalCare got to where it is just because someone had an idea one day. Organizers on the ground are working really hard to make sure that CalCare had a chance to get through, had a chance to make it to the legislature in the first place, now for the second time. So essentially, one of the things that they can do is they can just reshift their efforts. Now, it's going to be a huge endeavor, and it's going to be very hard to do, and they will need lots of money. So look up the groups, donate to them, the drill. But they can just try and pass it through a referendum. And this actually brings up an even more interesting point about California's referendum process, is that California has a habit of things dying in the legislature, them going to referendum, and then right as the referendum looks like it might make it to the ballot or pass, the legislature sweeps in to pass the law instead. Now, mind you, they pass a version that they like better, so oftentimes they take a good thing and make it slightly worse, but it will be very interesting to see if that happens here. So we have a recent example. The California Privacy Rights Act was one of these that was essentially going to come up for a referendum vote. And right before they filed and had enough signatures to get it on the ballot, the legislature passed CPRA in a slightly altered form and made the whole point moot. So interesting, right? So there's still a chance that CalCare passes, but it's not going to happen anytime soon, I'm afraid, because essentially now we're in this very long timeline where we have to wait for the California organizers to get enough petitions on a ballot. And then, of course, we have to have an election, either a special election or a regularly scheduled election. Luckily, we have one of those in November. Maybe we can take advantage of that. But even so, CalCare is not going to come around for a long time. So I wish the organizers the best of luck. I still am really rooting for CalCare. You should be rooting for CalCare. And also for the New York Health Act. I don't exactly remember where in the legislative process that is right now, but the New York Health Act and CalCare are both two bills that we should be keeping our eyes on like a hawk, because the second they pass and come into effect, we could see a lot of pressure on the federal government and other state governments to pass universal health care programs. So very excited about that. It's unfortunate that we have this setback, which really does suck. And Gavin Newsom is an ass. We should, if you're in California, vote his ass out. He is one of the bums now. He is a liar. He said he was going to be fighting for Medicare for all, or in California's case, Medicaid for all. And he lied, because when the bill came up in front of him, he worked to kill it. So it's time to throw him out and to find an actual progressive, or literally anyone who will actually make CalCare happen, because Californians need it and we all deserve it.
Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you liked it, throw a like on it, share with your friends, and subscribe for more of our content. You can also find all of our videos and clips on youtube.com. Just search Let Them Eat Bread and you'll find all of our content. Alright guys, see you next time. Bye for now.